Devin Haney just did what great fighters do. He reinvented himself. He's now a 3 division world champion, and he beat the perceived best fighter in the division, and he showed that he can withstand power shots at a new weight class when people felt that he was mentally uncertain given the Jose Ramirez fight. And this is notable because it's only the greats that seem to be able to face adversity and then reinvent themselves as one of the top guys again. Haney has become that. He's a guy that had a lightweight era, then he beat Regis at junior welterweight. Now he's back to now he's up to welterweight, 3 division world champion. I think a lot of guys are now going to be interested in moving up to that weight class. I look at guys like Richardson Hitchens, Teofimo Lopez, even Shakur Stevenson. Who knows? Maybe even Keyshawn Davis. I think there's going to be a lot of exciting names that are moving up there now that Haney is the champion. The story of this fight was experience, but it was also focus for me. Haney didn't just win this in technique. He didn't just win this in that. I think Haney played out in his mind multiple scenarios that could happen. And what really went wrong for Norman was, and I heard it all fight week and so forth and so on, but it felt as though when I land my punch, this fight is going to change. And one of the outcomes we talked about in the keys to victory was what happens if the punch doesn't land? What happens if the physicality just isn't physical enough? And for Norman, that day was tonight. The punch didn't land. In fact, he lived his own nightmare. If you're the puncher fighting a perceived not hard hitter, a finesse fighter, and then they sit you on your wallet, oh my God, your head's racing. How can this be happening? And I think that what we saw is Norman got put in a situation that maybe he envisioned, but I don't think he really thought that could happen. And then there was a lot of pressure in many different ways. You know, you're embarrassed, you're trying to fight back in the fight, so forth and so on. And the fight didn't flow as effortlessly as it did in previous bouts. Norman's still a really good fighter. This is arguably one of Haney's best fights as a pro. I think it is his best fight if you put in the context of where is he mentally. And I think there's an interesting thing about Haney, which a lot of people have trouble, is the artist from the art. And I think a lot of people want to see him lose because he's like a continuation of this Floyd Mayweather. I'm going to win, I'm going to get rich, and there's nothing you can do about what I'm going to do. And he kind of likes to antagonize some fans, and he's beloved to other fans. I think he rubs some people the wrong way, and they want to see him lose. But he's very, very good, and he works extremely hard, and he's very focused. And I think the thing with Devin is he knows the checkpoints to greatness that he has to meet. And in this fight, we were seeing, could Norman almost prematurely get into that all-time great area. And it just showed that Norman has some things that he either has to work on or he has to gain experience on how to work at this level. Because there were a couple of things in this fight that I didn't love with Norman. You know, I'm going to get into that in the podcast. The one thing with Norman is he's very explosive. He's a good counterpuncher, but his distance still at times when he fights these Devins, Hitchens, some of these guys, he's really got to lock into where his distance is in the ring. And I think Devin exploited Norman's distance, which I think he's a little bit more like a free-flowing jazz musician. He kind of goes throughout range and doesn't see the range as important, and it doesn't typically matter for him given his power and given his abilities. But for me in this fight, Devin exploited his use of distance and where he likes to fight from, and that was the fight. So Devin Haney, really special talent and a phenomenal career resurgence performance.